Hey there, this is Paula Pant. Every other week, former financial planner Saul-Sehy and I answer questions that come from you, the audience. The next question that we are going to ask involves the difference between bonds and treasuries.
Hey Paula. Hey Joe. I've been trying to wrap my head around bonds and treasuries, but the more I read, the more confused I get. I currently park 20% of my investments in BND through Vanguard, but I'm wondering if I would get a better return if I put that money in treasuries through a Vanguard fund like VMFXX or VUSXX. Thank you for all the amazing advice you've given me and the community. I'm on my way to becoming less broke from tuning in each week. Heck, one day I might even be able to buy Joe a new card table for the basement. Keep up the fantastic work. From Tyson, a confused listener.
Tyson, thank you for the question. So you are currently in a bond fund, and you are wondering if you would do better in a treasury fund. So you want to know, first of all, what's the difference between bonds and treasuries?
And you know what? Even more important than that, Tyson, I waited for that card table for a long time, and I finally, literally, Paula, bought one last week.
Did you?
I bought a new one. I did.
Wow.
I bought a new one. The old one was getting pretty beat up where we sit in Mom's basement. And so we got another one. Plus we were having a big game night, a big board game night at the house, and I needed another table.
Picks or it didn't happen.
Just what people want. Hey,
yes.
These are the nerds taken together for board game night.
I meant pics of the card table.
Oh, it's like, who cares about the games and the nerds? I want to see the table. I'll take a picture of the table and I'll send it to you. But Tyson, this one actually is really easy. It doesn't seem easy at first, right? Because bonds are such a different animal than stocks are or real estate. But the way to think about bonds is just to remember what the activity is that you are taking part in. You are loaning money to companies. And whenever you think about loaning money, you think about two things. You think about their credit, and then you think about the duration of the loan. How long am I loaning it out for? So if I'm loaning money to somebody for a short period of time, or I loan it to them for a long period of time, I'm going to charge a higher interest rate for a long period of time because I don't know what my own financial situation could be like 10 years from now. So there's a little bit more risk there on my end, having that money out of my pocket for 10 years. And there's more money if I loan it to you. If I loan the money to you for 10 years, I also don't know what your financial situation is going to be like. So the longer the duration, it's called, the longer I loan it out to you for, the more interest I can demand.
And with a bond, you're loaning that money either to companies or to governments. And that's something that's in the news a lot right now, because as the U.S. is debating the debt ceiling and teetering towards a decision that's going to happen on June 1st, there is some turmoil in the bond market right now. All that means, in simple terms, is there are plenty of people who have purchased U.S. government bonds, meaning they've loaned money to the United States, and now they're weighing how risky that loan is. And as different people have different opinions about the level of risk, there is currently, at the moment, some added volatility in the bond market.
That is why looking at somebody's credit is always going to be important. What's the chance they're going to repay the loan? And several weeks ago, U.S. debt, safest debt on earth. Today, not as much as it was then. And we will see what happens there. But you're going to look at somebody's credit. Somebody's got a poor credit history, you'll jack up the interest rate even more. If they have a better credit history, well, then it's going to be a pretty safe bet. So they can actually demand from you that you lower the interest rate. So you go, I'm going to borrow it from somebody else. You don't give me a lower rate. Oh, yeah, okay. I'd much rather have you take it from me. So what you're asking is this. In a normal market, let's get rid of the gyrations going on in treasuries right now. Let's take a longer term view. U.S. government, super safe. That's what treasuries are versus loaning money to companies, which is a general bond fund. Over a long, long period of time, loaning money to a company is going to be a little more aggressive than loaning money to a government, which means that that government bond fund over longer periods of time will pay a lower interest rate back to you than if you loan money to a company. Loaning money to companies will give you a higher rate, expected rate of return over longer periods. When we get to super long periods, I start to wonder why you're in bonds, because over a 10-year period, assuming that you can stomach the volatility, being an owner of a company over 10 years in almost nearly every market has been better than being somebody that just loaned money to them. 15 years, even better bet. 20 years, forget about bonds completely, put the money in stocks. Once again, the problem there is not stocks. Over 20 years, I'll take stocks over bonds. The problem is, Paula, I then have to look at the investor and their ability to stomach the roller coaster ride, which is the stock market versus a much more docile bond market. So if you don't think you're going to be able to stick with it, then putting bonds in that portfolio and accepting a lower rate of return might be a better way to go.
Tyson, you mentioned that you are in the Vanguard Total Bond Market ETF. I'm looking at the portfolio composition right now. 67% of that money is in U.S. government bonds, meaning it's money being lent to the U.S. government. The remainder of it is in bonds that are given to a wide variety of companies, everything from American Express to Amazon. You can tell this list is in alphabetical order because I just named 2 A companies.
To Apple.
Oh, you know what? I don't see Apple on here. Oh, but maybe I just haven't gotten to the P's yet. Amgen. Oh, the African Development Bank. Ally Bank. There we go. Ally Financial. Aetna. Alibaba. Altria.
I heard that company's smoking.
Oh. Wow, I still haven't gotten to the P's. Alphabet, parent company of Google. How am I? I'm on page 28 and I still haven't gotten to AP. I'm still in AM.
That shows how diversified this portfolio is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
But the point is, one is going to be 100% treasuries and the other, you said, is 60% governments, 40% companies.
It's 67% U.S. government.
If you're in a fund, that's all you need to know. This fund will be more volatile and it will have a higher expected long-term rate of return than one that's all treasuries, period. Just based on a function of what it invests in. And that with bonds is really, truly, if you're investing in bond funds, what you need to know about the expected return. Now, if you've got 2 bond funds that have similar type companies, then we get into what are they charging for that? You know, what are the fees associated with that fund? And then we go with the fund that has the lower fees and one that operates much more like an index than active. There's more reasons to maybe choose an active investor. I still like the indexes.
Cool. So, Tyson, thank you for the question. And whether you go with slightly higher risk but higher potential reward bonds or slightly safer treasuries, that's totally a choice of what kind of characteristics you want to hold in your portfolio. So either way, best of luck growing your wealth and buying Joe his next card table.